I want to welcome you all. It's our pleasure to have you here tonight. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I want to welcome you to our annual meeting of 2024. For those who don't know me, and I suspect that's few, I'm Ed Rady, and I'm serving now as the Chairman of the Board of Directors, or President of the Board of Directors. So it's kind of my show tonight a little bit. I officially call the meeting to order. And thank you all for being here. Just to go over the agenda tonight, we're going to try and keep this to under an hour. I'll say a few things early in the beginning, and then Mark will come up and he's going to give you a summary of the operations in 2023, a little bit of operations insight into 2024, and then I'll come back, talk to you about what we think the year ahead is going to be like, a summary of where the projects are, and all that. We are being video recorded because we intend to make a copy of this and send it out to all the membership who didn't make it here, couldn't make it here, and so that they get a chance to view this as well. I also want to thank everybody who took the time to vote in the last election. We had a fairly good turnout. We had 165 members voted, and that was more than the 25% that we needed to make a quorum. And the results of that was Joe Carabino was elected as the next board member for the next 3 years. Joe, where are you? Stand up, take a bow. So next year, Joe will be sitting up here in one of these seats, and we'll be able to pick on him a little bit. I'd like to take just a second to introduce the board members, many of whom you know, but I'd like to do it anyway. Doug Eidecker is our current vice president serving us. And then we have Dan Koharko as treasurer, Rich Bacaro as secretary. And then we have as directors Kathy Hodgkiss, Tom Headley, Brant Backus, and Basil Christopoulos. Someone who is not seated up here for a number of reasons, but has, I think, earned the recognition of all the membership in the club is Bob Klein. Bob, you're here? Where are you? Bob, why don't you come up here for a second? While he's on his way up here, Bob was been a member at DC Ranch for over 18 years. He spent 4 years on various committees. He actually spent 6 years on the board of directors, and 2 of those were as president of the board of directors, both in 2022 and 2023. And as you probably all remember, in 2023, we had a turnover of a general manager. And Bob, for a period of, I think, 3 to 6 months, did double duty as the general manager of the club and actually the president of the board of directors. And I have to tell you, since December 1st taking this over and seeing the workload that's on the president of the club, I cannot imagine what it was like to do duty for both jobs for a period of time. It is a great service to the club, and I think we should all be extremely appreciative of the time he put in doing things. I hear he was down here at 3 o'clock in the morning pumping out the basement of the building here so the carts didn't get damaged, and he managed through the golf course or the golf club redo out there where there were a lot of problems like permits didn't happen on time and a lot of delays. And he led the search committee for the new general manager and put a great job in doing that. He was always a champion for the staff and a regular user of the club as well. I personally would like to thank him because he did something that was very unselfish but very wise. About halfway through the year, I was his vice president, and he said, Ed, why don't you shadow me for the next 6 months, because you're going to be taking over, and it will help you a lot. So he included me on virtually everything he did for the last 6 months of 2023. And I have to tell you, that was so helpful to me. So when I took over on December 1st, I could hit the ground running. knew how things worked, and I just can't thank him enough for that opportunity to do that. So thank you very much. We have a little gift for Bob. Come here. Come on up here. As a token of our appreciation and thanks, we have a statue for him. It is imprinted on it, presented to Bob Klein for your faithful service and dedication to the country club at DC Ranch, President 2022-2023. So, Bob, thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it. Okay. So that takes away my first portion. I'm going to introduce Mark and let Mark give you the update on operations. Mark is, came to us from Medina, now with us about, I think, 15 months or so. He's done an excellent job of integrating himself into our club and our culture, a culture which is somewhat different than Medina, as you would expect, being a national club there, 3 golf courses, a couple thousand members. It was a little bit of a different culture. And the board wore red blazers to every meeting, too. So quite a bit different culture. Anyway, he inherited, I will say, his fair share of operation challenges. He has realigned and refocused the staff in a way that I think for the future we'll see the difference in management and solve some of the issues that were facing him when he came in. So I'll give it over to Mark to do the recap.
Okay.
I just wanted to say thank you all very much for letting me serve and as the president. I appreciate the boards I've had, committees I've had, all the membership that's participated, everybody's true love since my little downward trend in the fall. Appreciate Ed stepping in. They talk about that time of the general manager. The team here carried the club, not me. So just I want to make that acknowledged. There was not one soul that's not here right now that didn't participate, except Sharon and I, the only two have pink water boots for downstairs. But other than that, everybody else was in charge of this. They gave me a set of pink boots because I ruined my good shoes. Didn't fit very well, but that's okay. Anyway, I just want to make sure everybody knows how grateful I am to the membership. And hopefully one day I'll be back out here doing more things and we'll see where things go. You're in great hands. I'm super excited where we are. And thank you all very much.
Sorry about that.
Thank you, Bob. So I have to apologize. I brought the wrong glasses today, so bear with me as I go through my portion of it. I wanted to welcome everybody tonight. It's great to see everybody. I also want to welcome the Sparrows. I will tell you, the more you clap, the quieter they get. So just saying. It's an honor to be here tonight. So I'm going to go through kind of some operational successes, talk a little bit about our financial position, how we did last year. I'd like to introduce the team and then tell you kind of what's on the agenda for 2024. Jumping into the financial performance for the year, we reported club revenue of $17.8 million on a budget of $17.8 million. That may sound like we actually made budget. We missed budget by $12,000. That is actually 0.1%. So when it comes to budgeting, I don't know if I've ever worked at a club that's come that close to it. So job well done to the team. Thanks to the members for allowing us to reach that budget number. From a golf perspective, we did 31,500 rounds this last year, budgeted of 30,900. So about 600 rounds up, 2% up from budget and about 4% down from last year. So I think we're starting to see golf rounds level out as we've come out of COVID. I know I promised myself I wasn't going to mention that word tonight, but we're still dealing with some remnants of it. Couple key areas of growth for the club this last year: golf operations, up $232,000 to budget, or 10%, and fitness. So thank you, Jason and the team. Fitness, Tony and the team up $48,000, but that's an 18% increase in fitness. So job well done to both those departments. Key areas where we were able to control costs, cost of sales in food and beverage, we were able to reduce our cost in F&B by 2%, which may not sound like a lot, but it means about $90,000 to the bottom line. Administrative costs, we were able to manage that with not filling position or deferring positions and watching our operating expenses. We were down $464,000, or 9.5% in administrative costs. And then lastly, golf course maintenance, $133,000 down to budget in operating expenses, or 8.5%. So some great stories there to tell. Inflation's still here. We're still dealing with it. We created a new position and a new department this last year. So we officially have a purchasing department. You may have thought we already had a purchasing department, but every manager was doing their own purchasing. So now we're going to be funneling that through a department so we can take advantage of synergies and efficiencies that we haven't in the past. This is the real key story here for this last couple of years, and it's called turnover, or we refer to it as churn. I want to give a big shout out to HR for what they've done over the last couple of years in reducing our churn, but I also want to thank the membership, the club, the board of directors for allowing the club to reset the baseline compensation model for a lot of our positions. That's allowed us to keep the same people here year over year. So when you all come back, if you go away, when you come back, you see the same familiar faces. I'm going to throw out a couple numbers here, and this is really where I'm just amazed. In 2021, we had 67% turnover. Now you can probably throw COVID in as part of that. In 2022, we had 45% turnover. And this last year, we finished with 31% turnover, effectively reducing turnover by 100%, by half, over a 2-year period. Sasha, well done. Thank you to everybody that played a role in that. Finishing up on GOP, we had a gross operating profit of just under $400,000 this year on a budget of positive $26,000. And last year, a negative $417,000. So about an $800,000 delta over a two-year period. Any of that profit that we did make went back into the capital coffers. Lastly, I'll tell you that the capital reserves look very, very strong. We finished this year with $5.58 million in capital. Last year, we finished just under $3.5 million. So a very healthy capital budget. So we had a solid 22-23 financial year, which has allowed us to springboard all of our efforts into quarter one of 2023-2024. And we're tracking on a really good spot right now. Kristen, who's our new CFO, wasn't able to be here today. She's come down with an unfortunate cold, but she walked me through these numbers today. And to hear the CFO talk about just how financially secure we are right now makes me feel good when I come into work every day, and it should make you feel well as well. We've experienced some successes this last year, but I don't want to spend too much time on them, but I want to highlight a few things that I thought were great things for the club. I want to thank the sparrows again for continuing to chirp. From a capital perspective, we did the courtyard project this last year. We did the water drainage project that we referenced Bob scooping water out of the basement. So we don't have, Bob, we're good to go. We don't have to worry about water in the basement anymore. We did some various beautification projects. Dana and his team did an outstanding job this last summer or prior to opening in October with some desert landscape. Definitely increased the pace of play, but it got to a point where it was so overgrown that we needed to get it back to a manageable spot. And I would tell you anecdotally, Dana even got a wood chipper this last year, which I don't think we could have planned that any better. So on the golf side, Cody Barden and what he's done with the private lessons in the junior program, some great successes in golf. The new pro shop, the fitting room. I've never seen a fitting room as busy as the one here. I'm not sure if our members every week or so want to get new grips on their clubs, but we're seeing a lot of activity in there. A lot of great comments back from the member guests and the member golf tournaments. Dana, the quality of the course. I think every member here would agree that what you've done with this course over the last 20-something years is just absolutely amazing. So hats off to Dana and the golf course maintenance team. Food and beverage, uptick in food quality and consistency. That's where I'm going to be spending a lot of time this year, is in food and beverage. Increased restaurant programming and events. We got the clubhouse reopened again on Mondays for lunch in the men's grill and the main clubhouse. Nico Calcaba, if you don't remember Nico worked for for DC Ranch about 5 years ago. He came back out and he worked with me at Medina, went out to Desert Mountain, realized that's not the home for him. We got him back here at DC Ranch, and we couldn't be any happier. Monday Night Football in the men's grill, fajita Fridays back at the pool, and then again the newly created purchasing department. Rackets and fitness, increased pickleball participation, and again that's gonna continue as we ramp up for the pickleball project. And Dave and his team will be developing all that new pickleball programming. Dave and his team with all their USPTA certifications this last year. Here's another shout out to Tony. And this is really, I'm telling you what the team did, because they're the ones that make this happen. With a little bit of my guidance and maybe a little bit of my pushing, but they're the ones that make it happen on a daily basis. When Tony arrived with us a year and a half ago, we did about 1,000 visits to the gym on a monthly basis. We're averaging 2,500 visits to the gym now. And that is because of the environment that Tony has created. And I said to Tony when I first got here, the budget will take care of itself. Take care of the members, develop a program, make a plan, work the plan, and you'll be successful. And I think he's done that. New member assessment program in the gym, the fitness open house, the addition of the new Pilates instructor, membership marketing and communications. First, I'd like to say how great it is to have Sherry in charge of that department now. I think if I've made any decisions here in the past, collectively, that's probably the best. She is just an absolute asset to this club. Her right hand with Fadan Ibrahimova, who came to us from tennis. So employees are seeing that there's opportunities for promotion from within. That keeps employees here. That eliminates some of that churn and that turnover. In the membership side, we updated the new member approval process, streamlined all the wait lists to increase engagement with prospective members. New communication initiatives today at the club. Ed Rady's favorite new communication tool. Increased social media presence. So just a myriad of things that I think we've accomplished this year. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the team, and I'd like to get a round of applause, but maybe after I introduce everyone. Best team I've ever worked with, bar none. Anecdotally, I'll give you a couple numbers that I think are really interesting and explain why we have such an awesome team here. But the successes that we've seen here over the last year and a half, 2 years, all the way back to when these senior managers started, it's due to them and the work that they do and the dedication that they have in taking care of our members, their families, their guests, their own teams. So I did some number crunching last night. So with our senior team, our current senior team, for the amount of time they've been working here at DC Ranch, collectively 139 years of experience here at the club. Collectively working in hospitality, 372 years of experience. I don't think there's a lot of clubs that can say that. There's a reason that a lot of our senior managers have stayed here for a long period of time. And I think it's the environment. I think it's how they're treated. I think it has a lot to do with all of you members sitting out in the audience tonight. They feel, we talk about family and fun and friendliness. Family is the big one. And I think they feel part of something bigger than themselves. So I'd like to introduce them real quickly, and then maybe at the end we can get a quick round of applause. Sherry Farias, our Director of Membership, Marketing, and Communication. Guys, let's bring them up. Mr. King, thank you, sir. Sherry Farias, our Director of Membership Marketing and Communications. Kristen Galt, who unfortunately is not here tonight, who came down with an unfortunate cold. Mike Sharp, our Director of Purchasing. Tony Megna, our Director of Fitness. Dave Moyer, our Director of Racket Sports. Dana Parrish, our Director of Agronomy and Grounds. Jason Walter, our Director of Golf Operations. Dick Highland, our Golf Ambassador. Tim Loving, our Executive Chef. Clayton Oros, our Clubhouse Manager. Sharon Bishop, our Director of Catering Sales and Banquet Services. Kirk Gonzalez, our Director of Facilities. And last but not least, Sasha Staley, our Director of Human Resources. Ladies and gentlemen, your senior management team. Yeah. Thank you for all you do every single day. This is an enormous operation with a lot of moving pieces and parts. You hear me say it every day, and you're what make it happen. And so I am beyond appreciative. So again, thank you very much for everything you do in taking care of our members, their guests, and their families. Thank you. There's a few new team members I'd like to just identify. They're not here tonight, but are new to the team, and I think important to introduce. I'm probably going to get this name wrong. Allison Van Hoeklum, who's our new buyer in the pro shop. Courtney Vogel, who's our new lead assistant golf professional. Fadan Ibrahimova, even though she's not new, she's new to her new role in membership marketing and communications. Brody Queel, there they go again. Brody Queel, our new assistant director of racket sports. Max Davis, who hasn't started yet, but Max Davis will be our new second assistant superintendent. For those that don't know, Dana's gone nearly a year without another right-hand person. So we're super excited for Max to start. And then ultimately, Grace Campen, who's our new Pilates instructor. So if you haven't met her and you feel like a little bit of pain, I recommend you go over and see her. The road ahead, what's that look like? Well, I can tell you the road ahead is going to focus on a few things. It's going to focus on quality. It's going to focus on consistency and continuity. It's going to focus on me being out in front of the membership more. I spent the first year trying to understand the operation, where we had opportunities for improvement, and my goal and my commitment to you this year is to spend more time in the operation and less time at that pesky desk I have in the back. We're going to be looking at new pickleball courts and new pickleball programming this year under the Racket Sports program. Capital projects, just to touch base on a few things we're looking at and working through the House Social Committee and Kathy Hotchkiss on clubhouse restaurant furniture and the ladies' locker room. New member events added to the agenda. Again, like I said, increased time in the operation, whether it be in golf and food and beverage. Who knows? You'll see an article that's going to come out in the Trails End newsletter in the next few days, affectionately called Bring Your Boss to Work Day. So if anybody's familiar with Undercover Boss or a shadowing program, I'm going to be spending time within the operations to better understand the operations, where we have definitive opportunities for improvement, but also gets me in front of the membership, it gets me in front of the team, and ultimately it allows me to report back to the membership what I found out. So anecdotally, I may spend time in golf operations and find out that it takes 20 minutes to turn a golf cart around, and that's good information for you all to have. So with that, I'd like to say thank you for your time this evening. Thank you for your trust. Thank the Sparrows again. Here's to a great 2024. Thank you very much. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Ed Rady.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Got to take this down a step. I'm a little shorter. I wanted to say a few things about committees here at DC Ranch. For the first time this year, we had 71 members offer their services to committees, which is more than double we've gotten any other year. And I see this as a really, really good sign of membership starting to get involved, wanting to get involved, and I think it's a very great thing to happen. And we were able to accommodate all but about 5 of those members on committees. So that, and the purpose is obviously for them is to is to give guidance and advice to the management team on the various areas. We've made two different changes this year on committees. One was to split the golf operations committee into two committees, one just focusing on golf operations itself, and the other one focusing on greens and agronomy, and also becoming the official body within the club that is going to head up the golf improvement committee program. We had another ad hoc group working on that, and we combined the two. So now that we have an official committee that is going to take care of not only Dana's needs from month to month on the agronomy issues, but also head up and manage the golf improvement project, which I'll get to in a few seconds here. I just wanted to go over the committees itself. Finances being headed up by Dan Koharko and Joe Carabino. I will tell you, I have sat in there now for numerous meetings. The Finance Committee is as sharp a group as you'll ever see anywhere. They are really, really bright people, and they are, in my opinion, great custodians of your money, and will assure that it is spent wisely and that the whole finance operation will be effective in the future. I have a lot of confidence in them. They have a lot of work to do in terms of looking at the financing for the golf improvement program and thus, but they've been working at it now for months and months, and I am just absolutely impressed with the job that they have been doing. In membership, we have taken the membership committee, which focused just on membership, and we have expanded that to membership, marketing, and communications. In the past, there was no body within the club that focused on marketing and communications, and this was something that was spread across multiple departments within the club, and we didn't really have what I would consider to be a robust marketing plan or even a robust communications program here within the club. And now we will. We've turned the membership committee over to Doug Eidecker, and Tom Headley is assisting him as a co-chair in that. Doug has segmented the membership committee into three different segments and appointed leaders for each section of that. And I think you'll see some good things coming out of membership and marketing. The lifeblood and the success of this country club is really predicated on our ability to get new people through the door. It's really, really important that we attract new members, and we certainly have the facilities to do that. I'm hopeful that we can keep that up in the long term. We've seen some really positive results from all the investments we've made over the years, the cost of the membership these days, and I think a real good focus on getting our name out there more, and the club being more attractive to people coming in will serve us in a good way in the future, because we have an aging membership. As you all know, we have about 150 members who are over the age of 70. They in time will be moving on, and we will need the membership to come in to replace them. And we're thinking about that now versus 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 years from now when the problem comes up, so that we can have in place programs to do that. Golf operations will be in the hands of Mike Thorell, Rich Baccaro, Brad Backus, and fitness and racket, Mike Brigette and Tom Headley. You'll recognize that a couple of those people are not sitting on the board of directors, and one of the changes we've made on the committees this year is you don't have to be a board of director member to chair or co-chair a committee anymore. If you have great qualifications for it, then it's likely that you could step up and serve the club in that way. House, Kathy Hotchkiss and Basil Chrysopoulos, and the Greens Committee, which is heading up the golf course improvement program as well. I'm going to head up personally, along with a rotational co-chair membership, starting off with Jack Benton is my co-chair for the immediate 3 months, and then we'll turn it over to some other people as we rotate them through. I'm really excited about that committee, incidentally. I think we got some really good heads. We really got the membership involved. We've assigned research projects to other members, things like, what are the player's going to play when the course is down. Things like what are we going to do to this golf course, like sandpacking the fairways and that. We're doing the research. We're going to outside experts. The members are really stepping up and doing a lot of work. And I think we've got maybe 5 or 6 subcommittees that are going out there and doing due diligence on the things that we want to do as far as the golf improvement program. I expect a busy year this year. One of the things I think we're going to have to do is do a lot of bylaw changes. Some are just sort of keeping up with the times and making some small changes here and there, and some other ones like maybe possibly new memberships, which I'll talk about in a second. We'll have to get the bylaw changes of memberships. And one of the things we've been meeting with legal now and to set up a system of electronic voting approval for bylaws and electronic election of board members in the future. I think we need to get with the times, make that happen. There's all kinds of problems with the current system we're using. People don't get the package, or they get the package late and they don't have time to return it. And it is very costly. Doing it electronically can save us just a boat of money. And we can probably do more bylaw changes within the year rather than try and put 30 things in one bylaw change, where some of the things you like, some of the things you don't like. It'd be better to have maybe 3 or 4 different bylaw changes where you get a better choice to make a decision. As far as clubhouse memberships go, this club was put together, I think, in 1996, somewhere along there. The classes of memberships were set at that time by DMB. The number of memberships were set at that time by DMB, and nothing has changed. And I think it's about time that maybe we ought to give some consideration to looking at that very carefully. If you've been reading the minutes, the membership committee has been working on this for 3 or 4 different meetings. We have looked at a potential limited golf senior membership for some of these seniors who, and instead of leaving the club and not playing any golf or going to the clubhouse and not playing golf, can go to an option. We're looking at that very carefully. We're looking at clubhouse memberships. We have much greater facilities than we did back in 1996 when we said there were going to be 150 clubhouse members. And we have capacity. We have capacity in dining, we have capacity in fitness, and we have capacity over in racket sports. So we're going to look closely at increasing the number of clubhouse memberships, which will help us all pay the bills and actually make it a livelier place in some respects. The third one is a legacy membership that was brought up by Basil. We're going to look at that in terms of what can be done there to help the members include family in various things. That is also being considered. This year, we welcomed 26 new golf members to the club. We welcomed 12 clubhouse members and 3 sports socials. And we have considerable waiting lists for all the different memberships. This month, we have currently 9 memberships for sale, which is the largest we've ever had. We have 5 candidates who have approached us and said they're willing to pay the current prices and all that. Whether they actually join or they don't join, we don't know yet. But we need to make sure that we encourage new people to come in the club and take care of the memberships that are going up for sale. One of the things we are doing a little bit more of is new members coming in. I think it's important. We all forget, those of us who've been here for a long time, we forget what it's like to be a new member and kind of going into a strange place that you haven't been in. And I think we need to do a bit more to welcome our new members, to acclimate them to the club, to the other members in the club and all that. We had a new member dinner back in November. It was 47 people, and I can tell you it was really a terrific time with them. And they were getting together, making tea times together, meeting each other for the first time. And we need to do more to make the people who do come into the club faster, happier, and get them ingrained into the way things happen around here. We also have never done anything for people on the waiting list getting into the club. And I think we've missed an opportunity there to extend our hand out to people, to keep them interested in the club, to have them keep a good feeling about the club, even though they haven't been able to join yet. It's important that in the community, even those people just feel, God, this is a great place to be. I still want to be there. I'm going to stay on the list and all. So we're going to start doing some activities for people on the waiting list that we haven't done before. As far as projects go, the pickleball project that Mark mentioned is hopefully going to get going in April. It's about a 3-month project. It is going to take court number 4 and make it into 4 full-time pickleball courts. And it's going to put a new tennis court to the west of court number 3, so that we'll wind up with the current 6 courts that we have for tennis and 4 full-time pickleball courts. I get to interview a lot of people joining the club, most people joining the club. I'm one of the guys who interviews them, and I can tell you, people constantly ask about, what are you going to do as far as pickleball services and all that. It is something that, being competitive out there with the other clubs in the valley, we have to take care of and make available to people. Mark mentioned about the furniture that has been on order, it seems like forever. It's about a year or 2 overdue to replace, but one of the process they're using is to go to North Carolina, have a sample of the furniture made, sent out here so people can sit on it, see it, feel it, make sure it's the right furniture for what we wanted to do at the club. So that takes an extra 6 months or so in the whole process of ordering furniture. But we should have furniture for the conservatory, the wine room, the piano room, the living room and the bar, and the mixed grill sometime later this summer for your enjoyment. The ladies' locker room is another project that has been on the books for last year. There wasn't enough money budgeted for it. We upped the budget this year, and hopefully we can get that all completed by this fall. So that's pretty much it project-wise to update you on. I did also the golf course improvement, and when I put this on the schedule, Mark went, oh, no, he can talk for 6 hours on golf course improvement and still not cover half the stuff. And it is true. It's a very complex process that we're going through for the first time ever. And there's a lot of I's to dot, T's to cross. But we're handling it. We're trying to communicate to you where we are at a particular time. And we fell behind a little bit. I fell behind a little bit this past quarter and not getting it out fast enough to you, but we got it out here about a week ago in terms of where it is. And my promise to you is to keep up the dialogue and keep up the information and make sure that you know what we know. And sometimes what we know at the moment changes, and you have to be cognizant of the fact that while we will tell you here is a schedule right now, it may, if something comes up, change. But that's better than not telling you what the schedule is now. So we're going to keep you informed, keep you current, keep you updated to the best we can. I hope you've seen a little bit of uptake in communications. The golf course improvement project now, the Greens Committee will be handling that. There will be minutes every month of that meeting. So you know what we're discussing, where it is, what's happening. So that will be a constant monthly update of what's happening with the golf course improvement project. And if anything big happens along the way, we'll send out a separate communication so that you know, such as there a big change in timing and all that, because we know people got to plan their lives in 2026 and thereabouts. So we will definitely let you know. I want to thank the board. I've only been with them for 2 months now, but we've come together. We just had a meeting last night, and a good feeling that the camaraderie is there. Everybody is pitching in, trying to make the best decision we can for you. It's often difficult because, you know, we as members wear 2 hats. And I've said this before, and if it's redundant, you know, that's okay, is, you know, we're a member, we wear our member hats, but we also wear our owner hats. And the decisions you make as an owner are somewhat different than the decisions you make as a member. And you can't when you sit on the board, you have fiduciary responsibility to 400 people managing this $50 million asset that we have here. We got responsibility to make sure that it's healthy, it grows in the future, and it's there in the future for all of us. And sometimes those decisions are contrary to what one would do as a member with your member hat on, but you've got to make your business decisions nonetheless, and the board especially has that responsibility. So I just promise you, we have your interest at heart, all of our interests at heart. We will try and make the best decisions on your behalf. I thank you for all your support and for trusting us with the leadership of this club. We really appreciate it, and we will do the best we can. Thank you very much. We have some time for some question and answer. Happy to take any questions that you might have and answer them. No brave people out there right now?
Good.
Everything's perfect? No, listen, feel free to, at any time, email us. Those who have emailed me and sent questions realize one thing, that I take time, I answer everything that comes to me. And it's not just a 2 or 3 word answer, it's an explanation as needed. Mark and I are looking at maybe making ourselves available like one day a week for an afternoon or an evening to set up 30-minute sessions where the membership can kind of schedule to come in and talk about something that's on your mind. I think we owe it to the members, or schedule a call at that period of time and talk to us as well. We want to make ourselves available and address anything that's on your mind the best we can, and we'll be as honest as we can with you on what's happening. Anything? Yeah? Right. Yeah. Okay, we will try our best to do that. The process when we first started this, and Tom Lehman was commissioned to do the plan, which involved quite a few design changes. We had a meeting on March 1st where Tom presented that plan down at the pool, and a lot of people came up and said, "Well, you know, that's all well and nice, but what do we really need to do?" And because the feeling up to that point in time was there was an irrigation system, and that was kind of it. And it turns out that the need to do was quite more substantial than just an irrigation system, because before you do an irrigation system, you have to fix whatever is not working properly on the golf course, which means the bunkers need to be replaced. And I think everybody in this room can agree with that. But also there's issues with the greens, and there's issues with the tie-ins, and so out through, and drainage throughout the course. So one of the things we did was to try, and we took some members around for a tour, and they were quite impressed that wow, this is a bit bigger than we had thought. And then we did the video series to try and bring to the attention of the membership of how extensive the quote unquote need to do projects really were. So we put together a need to do diagram, taking the original course as it is and the need to do course with changes that we felt were there. And I sat down individually with 18 members of the golf course here, one-on-one, and went through with them the difference between the current course and the need to do course. One of the things I wanted to make sure is when we went out and we priced the need to do course, that people believed it really was the need to do course, and we didn't put things in there that didn't have to happen. Because in essence, it's going to be not that far off probably for the design, from the design redo that Tom Lehman did when all was said to do. There's probably 5 holes where Tom made major changes from what we actually need to do in the course, because both plans, you got to do the irrigation system. Both plans, you got to do the greens and tie-ins. Both plans, you got to do the bunkers. And so we'll see, but that took a lot of time. That was double the work of just putting together a golf course redo, because we had to do 2 scenarios. We had to get agreement on 2 scenarios. We have to bid out 2 scenarios. We had to do bidding plans on 2 scenarios, including grading and all that. And so it took a lot more time than we originally thought. And it changes every day. I mean, I learned, last week something I didn't know before, and every day you learn something new because you're out there talking to your consultants, you're getting more input, things are coming to light that weren't there before, and it is really a work in progress. And I can tell you that you got an update here, 3, 4, 5 days ago, and things have changed since then. Now, nothing hugely major yet, but there are changes that if I was to redo it today, it would be a different document. And there's a limit to how many times we can sit down and put the effort to do that. It took me a day to write that one document that went out to you, because I wanted to be thorough, I wanted to be complete and all that. But that's a day of my time I wasn't doing other things around here as well, and it's a very significant effort. So we will try to use various vehicles, such as written communications, and now you'll get the monthly update from the Greens Committee, which will give you an idea of what's happened during the month, if necessary, and we need to do videos. And then we're going to have a whole series of town hall meetings. Once we go out, hopefully in the next week or so, with the RFP, and they promised us they'd get back with us with prices in like 3 or 4 weeks. Once we get that, we can bring it to the board, and then we can have the town hall meetings where all that information will be presented to you, and we will explain why the decision, whatever it may be, has been made. And so it's just a tremendous amount of work, and we will try and keep you updated as much as possible, but it's very hard to accommodate everybody's way of getting information. We're going to do our best, and that's all I can say. Yeah, John? The new committee members will be announced Saturday. Yeah. Tomorrow? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they I don't know, have they been communicated yet? Yeah. They haven't been communicated to yet, but they will as of tomorrow and be in effect. I'm impressed with the work that the committees are doing, the leadership of the committees, and as the current president, I sit in on as many of those meetings as I can. I try and make all of them as an observer, just because if anybody needs to know what's going on in this place, there are 2 people who need to know everything, and one's Mark and the other one's me. So I got my nose in just about everything that I could possibly put it in, and Mark may say maybe too much sometimes. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, Kevin.
Thank you, Ed, and the board for all this big stuff. We all appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, thank you very much. This is major league. It is so important to us to get this right. We have to get this right for the club going forward in the future, and we will get it right. Thank you very much. I think the bar is open. Let's go.